right, good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Good, all right. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here. So really excited to be here with you today. I'm excited to talk to you about loyalty and this new era of loyalty. We at Lowe's have really reimagined our loyalty initiative and strategy, not to just be a program, but to be a powerful engine for customer growth and business value. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. I think we've all been part of loyalty programs over the years that are heavily transactional. More points, more rewards, more discounts. Today, loyalty isn't about that. It's about value. It's about building trust with customers. It's about creating relevant experiences. And all of those experiences are backed and powered by data. Loyalty used to be simple. Customers would earn points. Customers would spend money, they would earn points, and hopefully you'd give them enough value that they would come back. But that's table stakes now. And I'm not saying that's not important, because you still need instant value to capture your customers from day one. And we'll talk about that. But customers expect this. And it's not really what's going to drive that long-term relationship with them and your brand. What they want is that personalized, seamless customer experience that feels relevant to them and feels human and feels helpful in their lives. And that's what we all have to be after. So as marketers, and really as enterprise leaders, it challenges us to think about loyalty not just as a discount engine, but truly as a relationship strategy for your company. And it's the new way that we have to engage customers because their expectations are higher. At Lowe's, we've transitioned from this transactional loyalty model to a fully blown and incorporated data-driven ecosystem. We've connected everything from our credit cards to our business and member tools, to our partnerships, to our deals and discounts, to our events and experiences, and even our partnerships, all to this loyalty ecosystem. This is what is enabling us to connect with customers no matter where they are in their shopping journey with us, whether that's in our stores at the time of transaction, or when they're dreaming up their next project, or if they're a pro, if they're on the job site. Being there to help them every step of the way and give them more as members is the underpinning of our strategy. But it wasn't always this way. And if you've ever done loyalty at any company, and maybe you were in that more transactional mode, it was very siloed. We had a number of different value propositions that we were giving to our customers. They were incredibly disconnected, both from a customer experience perspective, but also internally. The data was disconnected, the systems were disconnected, and it created a lot of friction for the customer and for our company. And I'm really proud to say that we've completely transformed that by taking this ecosystem approach. And I'm gonna talk to you today a little bit about how we've done that. So some of the key ingredients for success in this new era of loyalty, spoiler alert, they are not rocket science, but these are really critical to ensuring that you can build this relationship with your customers. So first of all, you have to be customer obsessed. We're a big retailer. We serve a lot of customers across the country, but we had to be really clear about who we were fighting for and who we wanted to win with. And from that knowledge, we were able to then figure out, and I'd challenge all of you to think about, what is that relevant value proposition? You can invest a lot in loyalty, but if you don't know what you're investing, who you're investing it for, and what you're delivering, it can become irrelevant quick. The next thing you have to be really focused on is intentional data collection. Loyalty is about capturing data at the end of the day, very functionally, but it builds trust, and so you have to be intentional about how you collect it and use it. And that powers those meaningful experiences that drive more personalization, but also inform you on how you're going to show up in culture and in ways that create importance of your brand in a customer's lives. And as I mentioned earlier, it has to be an enterprise-led initiative. It can't just be a singular functional focus of a loyalty program. It has to truly be enterprise-led and delivered across every function of the business. So at Lowe's, we have two very distinct customer groups. And while we're all humans and we all have homes, hopefully, that the customers that we're serving, their needs from a home improvement retailer are very different. We serve pros, and they're specifically the small and mid-sized pros. They can be contractors, they could be plumbers, they could be landscapers, they could be painters, but they all actually have some very core needs to run their jobs and run their businesses. They want us to help them save time and money, and they also want to feel special. And we learned that through a lot of research and a lot of understanding of their behaviors. On the flip side, we had to look at the homeowner population, and it's big. There's a lot of homeowners out there. We had to get really clear with our loyalty program of who are those homeowners that we really want to serve. And we were thinking very deeply about the range of support that we can provide. So we think about homeowners from your first-time homeowners that are just getting into the home improvement journey, to your serial DIYers that can't wait to take on that next project, all the way up to the people that may not have the ability to do all the projects they used to once do, and how we can be there for them to help them along the way. So when we developed our loyalty programs within the last 2 years, Milo's Rewards was designed specifically to offer value to the homeowner that saved them money as well, but also provided inspiration and fun and meaningful experiences that made the home improvement journey easier for them and more rewarding. Whereas the pros, it was all about function and efficiency. And so we were able to craft this value proposition unique to each of these customer sets, but all unified under the same ecosystem. What did that start to look like? So there were still some key tenets, and there are 4 big areas. Of course, we have to have rewards. I mentioned earlier that instant value is incredibly important to capture those customers from day one. So everything from our member deals and our special member weeks that we're excited, Lowe's is now in the game with Amazon and Target and Walmart. We have member weeks, and we're seeing customers now start to shift some of their home improvement spend that might otherwise have been starting to go to other brands back into Lowe's during those critical weeks because we're showing up. We've also learned that, especially when you think about culture and the younger generation, they want early access to trending products. I don't know any big Halloween decorators out there, but Halloween decor is a really big deal. And people buy it early, and they want the biggest animatronics and blow-up decorations in their yard. And so we provide early access to members so that they can get that first before it's sold out. And they love that. Convenience, also really important today. Free standard shipping for all of our members. And this was something we had to really rally the organization around. There were many different convenient fulfillment benefits, but we had to simplify them and really figure out what matters to customers. For homeowners, it was just about free standard shipping. I don't necessarily need it today, but I want it to be free. For the pro, it's things like same-day job site delivery. If I have a big order of paint, I want it on the job when I want it, and our members get access to that. We've also given our members access to some of our most innovative home improvement tools. Styling your space so our customers can actually dream up their kitchen, and we can help them deliver it through the use of AI. We also recently introduced Milo, an AI advisor to help you do everything from asking it, how do I fix the leaky faucet? Or how do I do a small bathroom renovation? And what tools and supplies do I need to get it done? And we provide all of that to our customers to make that journey easier for them. And then lastly, really making sure we find ways to connect with our customers in real life through events and experiences. I have to say, this one was always like, do people really want to come to Lowe's to connect, or do they just want to get stuff done? But we're seeing this next generation of customers, these families, and our pros really enjoy the sense of community and connection, and it's bringing folks that used to be inactive from shopping at Lowe's 2 years ago, 5 years ago when their appliance broke, to now coming into our stores to get a free member gift or participate in a kids' workshop. So these are really meaningful experiences that allow us to show up beyond the transaction and start to build real community and connection with our customers. And we also know that customers expect more from brands today, especially the younger customers. They want to be part of a community. 75% of them say that it's critically important that if they're going to be loyal to a brand, there's a sense of community, whether that's directly through the experiences that we offer or through like-minded individuals maybe going through the same thing as they are, especially with our pros. We also know that 1/3 of them say that they would become long-term customers if they have a relationship with a brand, if they really feels like the brand knows them. And on the flip of that, if we do not provide the personalized experience, they'll disengage because great brands are creating more personalized experiences, and that is an expectation that customers have that we have to deliver. But how do we do that? We are really at this crossroads of balancing this massive desire for personalization at every touch point with this also demand for more privacy. And so I like to call that the personalization paradox. How do brands deal with it? How do you deliver both? And this is where loyalty plays a really big role. Loyalty is the unlock. It gives us permission. Customers explicitly opt into our program, tell us more about themselves, whether they are, I am a 100-person business, I operate in these territories, and these are the jobs that I do. They're telling us that information so that we can deliver them a more personal experience. Or if a homeowner tells us that they love to garden or they own pets, they're telling us information because they believe we'll make that experience better for them. So loyalty is powered by the data, but building that trust and delivering on that every single time and every single day is critical. Being transparent about how we use the data, what we collect, why we collect it, and then showing them how we use it every single day is a very big part of the strategy that makes any loyalty journey successful. Oh, there we go. So as I give this advice, I say, as you're thinking about loyalty, just think about that intention, collecting data with purpose. You have to think about, before you even start this journey, what do I want to know from my customers? And we kind of have this rule internally. If you don't know what you're gonna do with the data, don't save it, don't collect it. There's so much data out there, and if you ask your customers all these great, really interesting things about their lifestyle, but you never plan to use it, or you're not yet prepared to use it, I would encourage you to rethink about, is it time to collect that now? Because if you ask it, there's an expectation that you'll deliver on it. So it's important that you collect that data with purpose. And we talked about all the different data sets that you can use for your different customer groups. So as you think about your loyalty strategy, your personalization strategy, whether it's data you're collecting explicitly from asking the customers or even from third parties, be really thoughtful about the choices you make and how you collect that data, where you store that data, and if you're ready to put it to use. And then I think that almost every presenter talks about AI, and so I have to touch on this a bit. But as you have more data, as you have more customers, this is where we're really excited about some of the unlocks that AI is helping us do. And so at Lowe's overall in general, we think about AI in three big ways. First of all, how do we use AI to help support people when they're shopping with us? How we sell products, and then how our team works. When we talk about how people shop, it's all about using predictive models and giving them more guided experiences based on what they're either telling us in the moment or what we know about their past history. So a lot of our early use cases around AI and helping people shop are all supported by the use of that data and the predictive models that we're now able to scale through many of our different technology tools. We also use Milo, as I mentioned earlier, not just for our customers, but also our associates. So now our hourly associates that may not be experts in home improvement quite yet, as they're walking down the aisle on their devices, they have a Milo companion. So if a customer comes in and says, I'm trying to do this, or I'm looking for that access to the inventory that we have, the project list that they need is really helpful for our associates so they can show up to be a more helpful part of our customer's journey. And then lastly, how our teams work. This is really about how we enable more critical thinking. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of the functional, executional tasks, and we're still learning it, and we're still building this ecosystem of tools, but it's changing the way we forecast, the way we plan, the way we write briefs, the way we scale creative. All of that is yes, driving more efficiency, but also allowing our teams to work differently and think differently so that we can free up time and space to create more innovation and meaningful experiences for our customers. So it's been powerful to see the impact AI is already having on our business, not just in our marketing efforts. So this commitment to intentional data collection, coupled with how we scale that data and use that data, is really the foundation of creating these meaningful experiences. So all of this, whether you are coming into our store, picking out holiday decor with your kids, or you are planning your next kitchen installation, our intention is to be there with you every step of the way. And loyalty allows us to do that. So giving somebody the right offer at the right time, caring for them during the installation process and making sure every interaction that they have with us has been fed off of the last time they connected with us, whether that's in our store, through our call center, and the like. And so this foundation of data, this foundation of connection is really what's powering these personalized, meaningful experiences. We have a tagline at Lowe's, "We help, you save." And that used to be just a tagline, but it's incredible to see how this journey of personalization and loyalty really helps us deliver that in a more meaningful way, because we start to know our customers better, we know what matters to them, and we can help them in the ways that they need most. But it's not just about showing up in channels and having personalized communications. We also have to show up in culture. And culture is big. There's a lot of moments. And so I go back to being customer obsessed and finding the right moments to intercept with your customers. We recently launched the Lowe's Creator Network, which has been massive. And we launched that with Mr. Beast. Anybody know Mr. Beast in here? Or your kids know Mr. Beast? Yeah. Really exciting. I mean, he's incredibly influential. And he loves Lowe's. And there's so much we can do. And these influencers, this creative space that is now, whether it's Mr. Beast or the DIYer that is always finding new ways to build planters or do something unique in their home, they are becoming a new selling channel for us. They're allowing us to show up in places our customers are. And that's incredibly exciting and differentiating for Lowe's. We're also really big on this mini trend. We have mini buckets and mini toolboxes, and those things are being used for desk organization, cosmetic organization. I even saw last week Denny's, the restaurant, the little diner, put syrup in a Lowe's mini bucket and posted it with a stack of pancakes. And so we're getting into conversations that we were never a part of as a home improvement retailer, but we put dedicated a focus around where are our customers, what do they care about, what conversations are they in, and we're finding ways to even put our product into those conversations in different ways. We have a relationship with EA Sports and the NFL. A lot of our younger customers, and even a lot of our millennial customers, they're into gaming. And so this whole aspect of getting to where they are and having Lowe's have a purposeful reason to show up is something that loyalty and data and insight has really unlocked for us, so that things like our campaigns for the NFL go from just being a home team sponsor to really tapping into a cultural truth that we've got things to do around the house. And doesn't it feel good to get those things done and then watch their football games on Sunday? So this ability to think about how we help customers earn their Sunday is something that really came out of just talking to more of our members, tapping into cultural insights and truth for the customers we care most about. We have a partnership with Lionel Messi, the GOAT, which has also been a great way where we've tapped into this global fandom and a new set of customers where we're reaching new audiences. Every time we set up a promotion where Messi is playing in a big game and he scores, our members get 10 times the points if they come in the next day and shop. So we're seeing incremental trips be driven through loyalty, a very transactional benefit, but tapped into a cultural moment of how we connect with customers. And then lastly, and we're really excited about some things coming soon on our kids' workshops and events, one of my favorites, we want the next generation of pros and homeowners to start asking their parents, can we go to Lowe's today? Because we're doing fun things to create memories. And so these are all ways in which we're really trying to drive more meaningful connection through our loyalty ecosystem to capture these customers beyond the transaction. And underpinning all of this is this enterprise approach. And so when we think about loyalty as an enterprise initiative, the value of that is enormous. It's working with everyone from technology to finance to our operations teams to our marketing teams to really make a big difference. And it's allowed us to really remove friction, not just in the customer experience, but also internally as we think about how we've connected data, how we've connected systems. So now when a customer shows up on our website, they see the same thing they may have seen in the email the day before or the morning of or in a push notification. A couple of years ago, it wasn't like that. All of those things operated in different systems and different technologies. And so today, bringing that all together really helps to drive that seamless experience. And it does allow us to deliver personalization at scale. And I'm not saying we're perfect, and there's still a lot that we're connecting, if you will, but this ability to all be based on a unified system, a unified objective, has really helped us really deliver incremental business growth, and it is paying off. So this ability to turn data and meaningful connections into business growth is why so many companies like Lowe's are investing in loyalty and personalization strategies. We measure success not just by the number of members that we have in the program, but we think about, are we changing their behavior? One of the biggest problems that we had with homeowner customers specifically is they'd come to Lowe's for 2 reasons. An appliance broke, and they were in duress, and they wanted to get their washer and dryer fixed like today. Or they had some seasonal decor, or they wanted to plant their spring garden. But we only would see them 1, maybe 2 times a year, and in a lot of cases, not for the next couple years. So loyalty was really designed to drive that one more trip. So when we think about, are we doing a good job? Is this program successful? We're looking at incremental visits, incremental trips to our stores, to our site, and seeing those repeat purchases come in because they have really critical value to our business at the scale that we operate in. And so this simple goal of one more trip is this rallying cry that we've been able to unify every organization from digital to operations to marketing around to deliver these great experiences. And it's working. We have over 35 million members active in our program today, and we've had these programs live for just under 2 years. And we're really proud of those numbers. And we know that our members are spending 50% more than non-members when they come into our ecosystem. And that visitation and really that usage of the benefits has also risen. A few years ago, we did have a loyalty program for pros, but what we learned is people aren't really using it. And we were spending a lot of money on value and benefits for the same small set of customers, and we weren't really tapping into everyone else. So one of the things we're really proud of with this is that not only are they buying more from us, they're starting to engage with more of our offerings. So if we're going to provide great service, if we're going to provide exclusive access or convenient shopping benefits, we want to make sure people are going to use them, and loyalty provides a way in which we deliver that message and start to track if customers use them or not. And a few years ago, we would have millions of customers walk through our doors, and they had no reason to identify, no reason to enter their phone number, no reason to tell us more information about themselves. And now loyalty has allowed us to know every customer coming into our doors and really see that change of behavior and be able to build more relevant value and experiences over time. So in closing, there's just a few key takeaways that I hope you glean from this case study conversation. 1, you've heard it a million times, be customer obsessed. Know your customers to the core and keep them at the center of every decision that you have. Design for relevance and simplicity. I mentioned earlier, you can invest a lot of money in a loyalty proposition, but if it's complicated, your customers don't know how to access it, you can't deliver it at scale across the business, it's not going to work. Complexity and friction are the enemy of an engagement, so make sure you keep it simple. And then integrate the loyalty experience across everything that you're doing. And that's important for the customer, but it's even more important internally. If you can champion a loyalty initiative, a relationship strategy that really speaks to every function that touches the customer, you will be that much more successful with that customer relationship, but also internally in connecting your data, connecting your systems to enable that experience. And think relationship first. We all want great relationships with our customers. It's not an easy thing to do. Not all customers want relationships with us. So that has to be part of the experience. And then lastly, I love this empowering progress. What is relevant today is likely not going to be relevant a month from now, 3 months from now, let alone a year and beyond from now. So keep your operations agile, keep learning about your customers, constantly test and learn and then scale, and then be willing to do it all over again. And so those are the big things that we've learned here at Lowe's. I hope it helps you as you think about your loyalty strategies, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thanks for having me today.
Great job. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Amanda. And definitely great insights on the power of these programs, the loyalty programs. I also love seeing how Lowe's is really focused on the younger generation, right?
We are.
Starting right at the kids events, which I think is pretty powerful because those kids will eventually become those loyal customers in the future.
Yeah.
So
they really love their little aprons and
yeah,
getting all their badges.
I love it. I wish I had that when my little one was little, but it's too late now. Okay, so let's open it up for questions in the room. So, yep, there's a couple already with hands up.
Hi there, thanks, great presentation. Question here, tricky because B2C loyalty programs are different than B2B loyalty programs. So I was curious what your thoughts are on creating an effective B2B loyalty program where other businesses don't really have any objective if you're in a commodity-based industry. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so maybe not exactly where you're depending on your industry, but we do think of the B2B channel as our pro channel. So our loyalty program, Lowe's Pro Rewards, the pro version of our loyalty program is a B2B oriented loyalty program. We have multiple tiers in that program. Some of those tiers and benefits operate more like consumer benefits to give them value, but there are other tiers that our bigger customers, our bigger business customers actually unlock, and that can include preferred pricing, additional rebate programs, and extra white glove service. So we've been very careful to not say loyalty is the catch-all for every customer relationship, but providing this framework of how do you want your loyalty proposition, not program, to interact with your customers is the way we try to think about it. So again, going back to being customer obsessed, if you know these are the businesses that we need to have relationships with, what is the relevant value that I provide to those businesses from my business? And then how can I create an ecosystem of value that's relevant to them? And do I want to deliver that in the form of a program, or do I want to deliver that in a form of a contracted relationship? I think it's kind of all the same premise of knowing your customer, what value you can deliver to them, and how do you create that meaningful experience and interaction with them over time. So principles apply, but how you deliver that, maybe not as a program, but as a relationship strategy, can really help in the thinking.
Great. Well, the question in front.
You mentioned that it was just 5 years ago, there wasn't a unified system. And so how did you get there in order to create that omnichannel experience?
Yeah, I think it was Chris yesterday from Verizon spoke a lot about the importance of unifying the data. And so you have to start there. Unifying your first zero and first party data was step one. And that was big because before then there was data sets in many different places, so it was nearly impossible. You could put any fancy tool up to do orchestration of your marketing campaigns, but if you didn't have unified customer data, it all fell apart. So you had to start somewhere, and we started with unifying our customer data. And then we were very purposeful from a marketing perspective and from a customer perspective in laying out what were the jobs that we needed to have done and what were the requirements that we needed to deliver to our technology teams and business partners in order to build the right marketing technology stack, the right agility, because we know it continues to change. But it all started with the unification of the data, and then the use cases and the requirements that had to be delivered by the business, not just technology, which was a big learning we had probably about 2 years ago. I was like, okay, great, technology is over there building tools and capabilities, but if the marketers aren't at the table saying how we're gonna use them, we're not getting what we need. So going back to getting the customer data, being clear about what your jobs need to be done, and then how your technology teams can enable you has been a big unlock in kind of unifying a roadmap and kind of marching towards where we wanna be to deliver this experience.
Do you have an outside data source that manages the hygiene and the enrichment to keep the entire customer database as clean as possible?
Yeah. We manage all of our first and zero party data ourselves internally. So we've built that here at Lowe's. We work with a number of third parties to enrich that data source. But at its core, and the simple answer is that we manage our internal core customer database ourselves, and we do not outsource that. We outsource other parts of it, and we work with agencies and partners to enrich it, but at the end of the day, our core data is managed internally.